Welcome to the Going Executive Director Show. My name is Brandy, and Jeff will be joining us here in just a minute. So the purpose of this show is to give you the skills, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and daily activities needed for you to build a solid, profitable business. Now remember, this is our team's philosophy, so we will be going over specifics and talking about our company name. Hey, what's up, Max? Good morning. Good morning. So yeah, we will be talking about team specifics, and we do have a generic show that starts at noon. So if you were waiting for that, that starts at noon. And here we are going to be getting into the company that we're working with. So we've been going over John Maxwell's 21 indispensable qualities of a leader. And today we are on quality number 19, which is servanthood. So you've got to love your people more than your position. So what are some things that you could be doing to really be able to give back to your team? For me, I'm very organized, so I feel like it's my duty to make sure that everything's running exactly how it's supposed to. And when we're at events, how can I reach out to these people and see what exactly they need and give them, if they would like. Sorry, we have been dealing with allergies lately and a lot of drainage. Hold on. There we go, that's better. The joys of spring and allergy season. So anywho, so if I have their permission, some people like to have another person to be able to root them on, and occasionally message them, just check in on them during the week, be like, did you make your phone calls, did you do this, and who have you talked to this week? Now, I like to ask for permission before I do that, because also I'm the type of person, I don't want somebody messaging me all the time being like, hey, did you do this, did you do that? That's just me, but some people need that that accountability partner to be able to run with. So what are some things that you could be doing in your leadership to practice servanthood? Jeff is actually going to be going over this, so I will bring him on.
All right, what's up, guys? Benny's here. What's happening? Jerry's already on from Colorado. Welcome, welcome. So it says servanthood, the true leader serves. It says serve people, serve their best interest, and in doing so, you will always be popular, but may not always impress. Popular meaning people are going to actually ask you for help, but you may not always be the most wanted person around if you're helping everybody else. It says, but because true leaders are motivated by loving concern rather than the desire for personal glory, they're willing to pay the price. And it goes on to say, it says, you've got to love people more than your actual position. Because a lot of people get a position and they're like, okay, you know, me, and now that you're done talking about me, what do you think about me? So John has a couple points here. He says, first, put others ahead of your own agenda. So how do you actually serve inside of direct sales and network marketing? If you look at the compensation plan inside of Legal Shield actually pays you personally more to do work than it is to do the work for the team. So what you have to look at is balancing that out. I was told to balance it out at an 80-20 when you first get started. 80% needs to be personal production and 20% needs to be team production. So after you get done doing what you're supposed to be doing, then and only then do you actually go in to help everyone else succeed. That's what it takes. This is Benny believes I'm that people. Yeah, I mean, it's also being a people person and helping out. Al's with us. What's happening, sir? So it's an 80-20 personal production first over team production. Once you hit certain levels, and it's not even a certain level as much as it is a certain production that you're able to produce, that your teams are big enough, it actually switches to an 80-20. 80% of the production will come out of the team and 20% of the production or personal production. But I've always been taught you do what you're supposed to do first to set the example. So servanthood is two things. yes, it's taking away from what you're doing to go help somebody else, but it's also setting the example first. If you set the example first, then it's very easy to follow. We're actually going to be doing a show later today. Bess asked me, she's like, how do you get so many people to produce? And the answer is going to not be what you think it is. And we're going to do that show at 3 o'clock. So if you're interested in learning how to get a team to produce, not just you, that would be a really good one to get on. Number 2, it says possess the confidence to serve. So how do you possess confidence to serve? That one's pretty easy. Hey, if you're helping somebody else, how much confidence do you really need? I think it has more to do with the mentality of, hey, this is something that's going to benefit the group. This is something that's going to benefit another person. Again, having a leader's heart, I think is one of the most important things when you're looking at that. So John goes on to say, the law of empowerment says that only secure leaders give power to others. So being able to help somebody else. Dave Peters is with us. What's going on? It says 3, initiates service to others. So it's not about people reaching out and saying, hey, I need help. It's about you reaching out and saying, how can I help you? We want to get you to this next level. We want to help you succeed. I want to help you get a paycheck. I want to help you get promoted. How can I help you succeed? What is going on that we need to overcome to get this moving? How can you get me in front of some more people? And I'm willing to help out. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the presentation. What do we need to do? 4, it's not position conscious. So just because you don't hold a high ranking position, just because you haven't moved up the compensation plan, does not mean you can't go out of your way to serve and help others. In the beginning, when I first started and I wasn't necessarily a producer, what I did is I did everything else I could to help out around the events. I did everything I could to help out when we were gathering as a team, no matter where we were. Leaders eat last. Making sure everybody else had their food, making sure everybody else had a drink, making sure everybody else had a seat, making sure everybody else was introduced to people. Hey, do you know the speaker? No, I don't know them. Oh, great. I could give you an introduction to who's actually going to be speaking and helping out. So just those things rather than being kind of into ourselves. It says serves out of love. Obviously, servanthood is not motivated by manipulation or self-promotion. It's motivated out of actually helping another human being. Which is a good thing. So reflecting on it. John says, bringing it home, to improve your servanthood, do the following. Number 1, perform small acts. Just being able to say hello. I know this might seem silly, but just being able to reach out and say hello to everybody. How's your day? What's going on? How was your weekend? Just being able to reach out. See, what I learned is true friends are the ones that reach out. But if you're always doing the reaching, if you're always the one who has to make that call, if you're the one who always has to make that text, then the friendship is one-sided. And a lot of people, in the beginning, you have to be the one to reach out. But if it always is like that, I like what Tony Robbins says. In the first 6 months, if you have a cash flow problem inside your business, that's normal. 5 years in, you have a problem. And I think the same thing is true with relationships. In the first 6 months, if you're the person who's reaching out, trying to initiate contact, trying to initiate things to go do in friendship, that's pretty normal. But if it's 5 years in and you're the only one doing it, there's a problem. It's a one-sided relationship, and you have to take account of that and probably make some changes. 2, it says, learn to walk slowly through the crowd. This is something that, Harvey's with us. What's up, sir? This was something that was very difficult for me to do because I was very task-oriented, and task-oriented people, I'm only thinking, hey, what do we need to get done next, especially when at a big event. At a big event, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do they need? What needs to happen? And there's always something. When you break 50, 60, especially when you break 100 people, at an event, there's always things not going the way they're supposed to. There's always not enough. There's not enough water. There's not enough seats. There's not enough cool air. In some cases, man, we've been at some events where it's been like 600 degrees. The nice thing is it's never been the opposite. We've never froze to death, but we have melted inside of a conference before. So I'm always trying to help out, grab those type of things, help people. But being able to walk slowly through the crowd basically means stopping to say hi to people and, either congratulate them for coming, either congratulate them for promoting, being able to recognize that they're just there. It's not really a time to totally catch up on life. but I think it's more about recognition than anything. It's just recognizing that people are there. And then next it says move into action. It says, if an attitude of servanthood is, absent from your life, the best way to change it is to start serving at the smallest level. I mean, reach out and say hi to everybody today. The first thing you can do is reach out to your team. Yes, but what if you don't have a team? Reach out to the people above you. My question is, there's always a line of sponsorship. Do you know that line of sponsorship? And have you reached out and said, hey, I'm part of the team. I just wanted to say hi. I just wanted to say thank you for staying in long enough for this to even reach me. So now I can participate. Because obviously some people had to go through some stuff to actually be in long enough. Brandy and I's direct personal sponsor has been in the business 15 years. He was actually just asked, he's like, well, how do you sponsor a guy that's able to bring in 36, 37 people, in a very short period of time? I don't know, it's like 60 days or something. Mm-hmm. And we jokingly said, well, just stay in 15 years. Just stay in 15 years. Stay in 15 years. Stay on point. Stay in the game. Keep trying to recruit. Keep trying to sponsor people. Keep showing up to everything. Keep being a part. And eventually that person will come along, but you're going to have to wait. In his case, it was 15 years. Sometimes people will come in 6 months if the speed of the leader is fast enough. You have to be going fast enough to attract people who can bring in that many people. If you're not bringing in that many people, it's very unlikely that you will bring in somebody who brings in that many people. Why? Because leaders are attracted to leadership. Imagine that. Recruiters are attracted to recruiters. Somebody who's going fast, somebody who's making a lot of money is attracted to somebody who's going fast and making a lot of money. That's how it works. So, the takeaway says Albert Schweitzer wisely stated, I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know is the ones among you who will be really happy are the ones who have sought out and found new ways to serve. So basically, it's constantly finding a way to do stuff. Now, there's other cool things that you can do. Right now, and I'll just give an example. We were talking at one of the big events at the end of it, and I was helping carry out stuff. And I said, what we need is one of those wagons, one of those wagons. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, they have these collapsible wagons that you can kind of unfold, and then you can put everything in and you can just roll everything out to the car. She's like, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. So we actually looked at some stuff like that yesterday. Being able to service is basically being able to pick something like that up and give that as a present to the people who run the events. That's the kind of stuff that's going way out of the way. Now, that costs money, so you might not be able to do the money thing. But I guess the second question would be, have you ever put together, there's one thing to send a text message to say, hey, thank you for, hosting, thank you for taking care of it. But to be able to handwrite a note, handwrite a letter. See, when you're able to handwrite something, it has a totally different meaning because you had to go out of your way to do that. That's not normal. To be able to send something by snail mail, that's not normal. So to get, an envelope, a piece of paper, a card, as simple as it is, to be able to send that card, that's where it really, really makes a difference. So find the speakers who have come into town, find their address, and say, hey, I just wanted to send you something. I saw you in Indianapolis. I saw you in, Colorado. I saw you in New Jersey, whoever you saw. And actually being able to send a note to them, a handwritten note, how different that is. Teresa's with us. Hello. So, and the same thing is, if somebody shares a story, whatever, the handwritten note, the handwritten letter, the handwritten card makes a huge, huge difference. And it doesn't, we're talking about the cost of a couple dollars. That's much more doable for some people to be able to help out. And it can make somebody's day, Sometimes you fight through all this stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really worth it. Should I be working this hard? Should I be beating my head against the wall to get this done? And sometimes it's stuff like that where you just get a card and it makes all the difference in the world. So these are different ways I've found where you can actually serve and help people. The other thing is if it's always about business, you're probably screwing up. And what I mean by that is if every conversation you're having with a person is always about business, if it's only about, hey, what did you do? If it's only about, hey, what did you get done? If it's only about contacting, if it's only about inviting, if it's only about presenting, and you don't know a single other thing about this person, then you've messed up. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we've gotten together with people 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and the only thing we've talked about, sorry, I got something in my eyelash or something. The only thing we've talked about is business. What it eventually comes down to is there's not really a friendship developing there as much as a counseling session and or a management session on what needs to get done. So it's a way to look outside of what you're doing and say, well, what do I know about this person? You know, have I used, you know, we have an agent profile. Have I used an agent profile and sat down and actually learned who this person is, what they're about, and what we need to do to basically build and actually have a friendship on top of it? Because I was told a long time ago, a friendship will equal an executive directorship. I don't even know if that's a thing, executive directorship. We used to say a directorship. But it's the friendships that develop that actually that's where it really leads to. So that's what we have today for servanthood. I appreciate everybody for jumping on, taking a couple minutes. I know we're a little bit early. Tomorrow, what are we going over, Brandy?
We're going over teachability. So if you guys are watching the replay, be sure to type in the comments replay, and also let us know where you guys are plugging in from. If you're from Wisconsin, Tennessee, Texas, let
Ohio.
us know where you are coming in from. So with that, we will see you guys tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you, guys.